Hey mamas, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to address a question that I was asked on Instagram and by a mom who asked what kind of exercises can I do after having a C-section? And great question. Ladies, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, on Facebook, and I will try to address them in a video. So usually C-sections, you are cleared by your OB or your doctor or your midwife after about 8 weeks. And that's absurd to me because thinking about, your doctor says, okay, you're all clear, 8 weeks, you can go back to, doing what you were doing before. And there's no real rehabilitation time. The doctors don't check up on you later to see how, that surgery, the incision, and how you're healing, which seems really insane because having a C-section is a really big surgery. And if you think about it, like people who get ACL on their knee, if they have surgery there, that rehab is like 9 months long. And C-section, that's like 8 weeks. That's it. Okay, go back to doing what you're doing. And the problem is that nobody's teaching moms how, how do you go home with a brand new baby after having C-section? Do you even know how to get in and out of bed? How do you hold a baby? This is hard crap. Right? It really is tough. So today I really want to show you a couple things. I want to show you some exercises that you can start with. But first I want to show you something very basic, and this is very simple and to all moms, new moms, whether you've had a C-section or not. When you're at home and you are going into a lying down position, so whether you're going to be resting on the couch or you're going to go to sleep, instead of doing this to lie down, what I want you to do to take off any kind of extra intra-abdominal pressure, what I want you to do is you're going to lean on your side. You're going to sit on your side, and then you're going to sexy slide down. And then you're going to roll over onto your back. Likewise, when you get up from a lying position, you're going to slide onto your side and then slide up. So you're going to roll onto your side and then slide up and down. And this is just taking off any kind of extra pressure that you're putting in your abdomen. Same thing, we don't want to be doing anything that's gonna, make us feel uncomfortable in our C-section scar. So something very basic that I teach. This is a really big golden nugget, okay, ladies? Because 90% of my personal training clients who come to me, I always spend the first session retraining them how to breathe properly. Yeah, I'm talking about breathing. I know it's something that we do every day, but we breathe, most of us breathe up into our chest, and we don't actually use our diaphragm or, our midsection, and we need to. In order to have healthy pelvic floors, to make sure that they're working properly, and to make sure that our midsection and our core is working, we need to breathe properly. So I always like to take a strap. You can take any kind of, something that doesn't have any resistance. I always use actually my strap from my bathrobe. And I want you to place this strap on your ribs. So just underneath your breast, like bra line basically. And you're gonna hold it here so there's no, it's really taut. And I want you to breathe. Now if you don't have anything like this at home, that's fine. What I want you to do is I want you to take one hand and place it on your chest, one hand on your shoulder and the other hand on your rib. And I just want you to close your eyes and I want you to breathe here. And I want you to focus on what's happening to your hands when you inhale. If you're feeling your shoulder rise a lot and you're feeling nothing in the side ribs, we need to change that. Right? We want to take out the breath from here because a lot of us breathe which is wrong. Okay, so that's why I like to place my hands here or that strap here around my ribs, because every time we inhale, what we want is to feel almost like a 360 rib expansion. So every time we inhale, we feel our ribs pushing out against our hands. And then as you exhale, those hands come back in. Inhale. Hands come out, exhale, hands come back. Same thing's happening to your belly. So the ribs are coming out, but your belly's coming out a little bit too. I'm not talking about yoga breathing. I'm just talking about a slight, your belly coming out slightly, and exhale, coming in. Inhale, exhale. Now you're probably you may be watching this and thinking, that's the exact opposite of how we breathe. And we live in a society where we are so, we always think about we need to have slim belly and we need to be sucking in all the time. And a lot of us actually, when we inhale, instead of bringing in that air, we are actually inhaling and sucking in. Well, that's not bringing in enough air to give us enough oxygen. So I want you to start to breathe properly. You're going to be working your pelvic floor and your deep core muscles, right? Who knew that breathing properly could be working all these really important muscles? So what you want to stay away from after having a C-section is you want to stay away from doing any kind of high impact activity. You don't want to be doing running, you don't want to be doing jumping, and you want to stay away from lifting heavy things, heavy dumbbells, whatever it is, okay? So we need to start to retrain our bodies first. So we can be doing some light body weight exercises. We can start to use, and I love these, resistance bands. So I'll show you some exercises there, and as well as some core rehabilitation exercises and walking. Walking is so great. And just, go with what your body says. I know after my baby, I went to the mall, and one time around the mall, I think was 2 kilometers, and I totally overdid it. That was 1 week after my baby, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. So just take your time, listen to your body, and just do what you can. Maybe tomorrow you can do some more. So I want to give you a couple core exercises that you can do to help rehabilitate your core. I'm talking about your deep core, not just your six-pack abs. I'm talking your deep core, which is your transversus abdominis. So I'm going to practice this with me. Sexy slide down onto my mat. I'm going to lay on my side, and I'm just going to look down, making sure that my body is in nice straight alignment. I'm going to bring my knees together so my feet are at 90 degrees. And I'm going to place an arrow. Like if I had an arrow, I would jam it through this hip so that both of my hips are going to stay stable. I don't want one of my hips coming forward and one coming back. So my hips are nice and stable here. And what I'm going to do is practice that breathing that we talked about. Inhale, rib expansion here. As I exhale, I'm going to do, this is the clamshell, I'm going to lift up my knee and inhale, release. Now, as I exhale, I am picking up my blueberry. This is your Kegel breathing, as I call it. I have a very in-depth video about how to do your core breathing, or Kegel breathing, as I call it, and I'll link that video in the notes below. Okay, so this is the very basics of all the exercises that I teach with my prenatal moms, with my postpartum moms, and in helping to heal diastasis, any kind of incontinence issues, low back pain. So really go to that. That's your basics, your basic foundation. So again, inhale, exhale, lift up that knee. Inhale, come back down. And make sure that you're looking forward and you're not looking down towards your knees. When you look down, you start to round your upper back. We already do enough of that, carrying babies around. You're going to switch sides and work your other side as well, okay? But in trying to save time, I'm going to go into the next exercise. So we're going to go and roll onto our back for some glute bridges. So what we're going to be doing here is not only working our deep core, but we're also going to be working our glute muscles as well. So I have my feet planted flat on the floor. And as I inhale again, always inhale before you start. Inhale, rib expansion. And as you exhale, you're going to push through your heels, bringing your hips up to the ceiling, and inhale, release down. Squeeze your glutes together. Inhale, releasing down. On the way up, you want your hips to go up first and your ribs to come up last. On the way down, you want your ribs to come down first and your hips last, okay? So I'm going to go through this 5 times so you can see it. Keeping those hips nice and stable. See how my hips are not rocking side to side? They're staying nice and stable together. All right, last one. And again, on the way up, on your exhalation, you're picking up that blueberry and you're contracting your pelvic floor. Again, you'll see that in the video that I link below. All right, so to get up, we're going to roll over onto our side. and slide on up. I want to show you some body weight exercises that you can do, but also I want to show you some exercises you can do with resistance bands, because I love resistance bands. So if you're not sure if you should be picking up even light weights, maybe, well, I mean, you're carrying a baby around, right? And presumably your baby's about 6-7 pounds. So if you want to stay away from 5-pound weights, resistance bands are great. So I'm going to show you the first exercise. You can do this kneeling, you can do this standing, you could even do this seated on a chair. But I'm going to show you kneeling. And what I'm going to do is take my resistance band out in front of me, and my hands are about shoulder distance apart. Depends on the band. If your band is really, really taut, a heavy weight, you might want to take your hands out a little bit further. The closer your hands are together, the harder this action is going to be. I'm going to have my hands out in front of me. I'm going to have my elbows slightly bent, and I'm going to pull the band apart and bringing that band into my chest. Inhale, bring it back. These are scapular retractions. Now I'm going to turn around so that you can see where I am working. And this is a back exercise, right? So we're doing so much mother hunching with our babies that we're really getting sore, achy back. So this is really going to help with that. So I'm going to turn around. I have my band out front, and I want you to bring the scapula blades together and inhale. Holding and pulsing for 1 here and back. And last one. Good. All right. So other things that you can do with a band, you can do some triceps. So working right here, what I like to do is take the band out to the side and bring my other hand overhead. So like I'm just, kind of cradling the top of my head here. And I'm going to bring my hands a little bit closer and just extend that arm out. Inhale back. So working our triceps. Nothing too strenuous here. You can make it as difficult or as easy as you want. You can place your hands, bring your hands in closer together to make it even more difficult, and place your hands a little bit more apart to make it easier. Okay, so you can do this. I have a mini band here, and I love these mini bands because you can use them for so many things. So again, I'm going to do some bicep curls without even using dumbbells. So if I could do this standing. I'm just going to do it kneeling. I'm going to have my band here, and I'm going to keep the resistance. So if I am pretending to have dumbbells here, I'm going to hammer curl up and bring it back down, keeping that resistance between the band. So I'm really feeling this in my biceps, but also my shoulders as well. So hammer curling up, working that upper body. And what you could also be doing with the mini band, I'll show you from the side. You could do this with holding onto dumbbells as well. But since we're not using dumbbells here, I am going to have it down here and just do some front raises. Keeping that resistance again. So keeping those hands apart. Woo, feeling it in the shoulders. Because who doesn't want strong shoulders? Especially for carrying babies. All right, last one. Okay. So you can do tons of stuff with mini bands, with TheraBands, lots of stuff. That's just a little taste, a little couple exercises that you can do. What I want to do now is come onto the ground and show you a couple body weight exercises that you can do. So the first one I want to do is modified plank. So I'm going to come on down to my side, and I'm going to bend my bottom knee, and my top leg is going to be in line. So my knees are in line together, my hips are nice and together as well, nice and stable. I'm going to bring my elbow right in too close to my body. And what we're going to do is push into that elbow so that when I come up into my modified plank, my elbow now is directly under my shoulder. So if I started like this, okay, that's not going to work. So I want to bring my elbow in and come on up. You can hold this, you can pulse it. Okay, so really now you're working your core again, but in a modified way that's going to be safe for you and your C-section scar. Now, just a reminder, go with how your body feels. If you feel like, I don't like this exercise, don't do it. I'm just giving you some examples of things that you can do at home. Two other exercises I want to do with you are really going to be working our glutes and our legs. So let's come up to standing and we're going to do some squats. Squats are really great for our glutes because so many moms have really either you haven't used your glutes for a very long time and you've tucked your bum under and now you got pancake bum. So we got to start rebuilding those glutes again. And a lot of moms have low back pain because their glutes are turned off and the low back is compensating for lack of strength here. So what we want to do when we're squatting is we want to start with our feet hip width distance apart. And we're going to hinge forward, so don't be afraid to bring that booty back, almost like you're flaring your butt cheeks apart. So bring your booty back and you're going to pretend to sit down in a chair. And then you're going to come up, okay? So inhaling down, exhaling up. Inhale and exhale. Now here's what I do not want to see. I don't want to see where your knees are over your toes. I see so many moms who are putting most of their weight into their toes. And what's that doing? That's hurting your knees. You don't want to do that. We're trying to build strong glutes here. So we want to squat and bring the weight, almost like if I could pick up my toes off the floor. I'm not going to do that. You don't have to do that. But putting the weight into your heels. Now you're going to feel it in your glutes. And come on up. Now, with the C-section, we want to start with squats that are not too low. So, here is about good. Just getting used to doing these things again. So that once you are feeling better, you can, start to get back to deeper squats. So we're just going to keep it nice and low. And I'll do about 10 of these. Inhaling on the way down, exhaling on the way up. Now, let's do some lunges. Traditionally, lunges, I always like to do reverse lunge. I feel they're more comfortable than stepping forward. So I'm going to bring my left foot back, and when we lunge, again, just like when we're squatting, I don't want you to get it down too low. So most of us, when we're doing a lunge, we're going to get down really low to the floor. I just want you to come down as far as you're comfortable, okay? Don't push it too much. And then come up. Just nice and gentle lunges here. Again, same thing with the squats. Make sure your knees don't go over your toes, okay? You're digging your weight into your front heel and up. The other thing about lunges, make sure that you have a right and a left foot. Make sure you're on a right and a left track and you're not putting your one foot behind the other. Otherwise, you got no balance. It's really hard to do. And you don't want to do that. And then we'll do the other leg. Take that step back and just do a couple low or medium lunges here. We don't want to go too low, right? Remember, we're retraining our body. We're getting used to doing things again, repatterning from exercises we used to do, okay? So just taking it slow. So moms, I hope that answered your question as to some safe exercises that you can do after having a C-section. And what you should also be doing is seeing a pelvic floor physiotherapist. So 6-8 weeks, see a pelvic floor physiotherapist. She'll be able to do an internal exam on you, see how your pelvic floor muscles are doing, and then, talk about your C-section scar as well. There are some massage therapists who can help out with some people get really tenderness happening there, pain. So see a specialist who can help out with massaging that area as well. And then the pelvic floor therapist can also be doing internal scar massage. So definitely check out a pelvic floor physiotherapist near you. And mamas, thank you for watching. Let me know if you have any other questions, and please give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time.